Good morning. I'm Lisa Gilley, and it's my honor to serve as president of our Board of Trustees for Countryside Church, and I'm not gonna cry this time. My pronouns are she and hers, and I learned this practice from Rev D. Today is Rev D's last day in the pulpit with us as our 2-year interim minister, and we take time to thank and recognize just a few of the highlights of her gifts, our memories, and the work that she has done with us and for us here at Countryside. Many of us have written much longer and deeper messages that we will share with Rev D in cards and phone calls. But today we'll share just a few highlights from just a few people before we join you in Atherton Hall to celebrate your time with us. And you'll hear a few words from me on behalf of the Board of Trustees, from Reverend Scott Giles, our community minister, from Jerome McDonald, from our interim transitions team, and from Mari Van Meter, from our worship associates team, and Marta will share a token of love. We're trying to do 2 minutes, it might be hard. And Elizabeth Van Orden, who was the creative force behind our gift, will present a special gift to Rev D. Reverend Denise, on behalf of our Board of Trustees, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your gifts and energy and focus that you brought to our interim ministry here at Countryside. You are a force. Aiden, you can agree with me, can't you? A whirlwind. A tornado and a whirlwind, ever interesting, ever changing, and ever strong. You bring passion and drive to all that you undertake. Your lively spirit and your creativity bring vitality to our Sunday morning services, almost but not quite dancing. You bring an element of surprise and honestly, sometimes for me, an element of fear and suspense. Uh-oh, what now? You also bring candor and insight to your sermons. There were so many messages, I'm sure some of you felt this way, but there were so many messages that I felt sure were deliberately written for and personally directed to me. And this is a good sign of a great sermon. There are so many lessons and images of Rev D that will stay with us long after you drive home to start your new chapter. And to fit all of these into my allotted time and more, I have abandoned any attempt at proper sentence structure. So instead, I'm bringing you a stream of consciousness, a random series of thoughts, images, and memories. Because, as you reminded me in your first month, it's not about perfection. It's a worship service, Lisa, not a performance. So here we go. Be curious. Ask why. Seek first to learn rather than to argue. Share your pronouns, the color purple. Images of Rev D, maybe someone can demonstrate it, bringing to life her enthusiasm with swaying and wiggling and arm-waving dances of joy. Paying attention to our online presence, website, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. This is how people get to know us before they ever walk into the door, you guys. Get yourselves out there. People need us, the world needs us. Don't be afraid to ask for money, and ask again. Just ask. And let me tell you, folks, I'm finally learning this. I'm not afraid to ask you for money, so be careful when you make eye contact with me. Don't avoid me in the halls. And mermaids. Let's get a few mermaids up here. More mermaids. Giving and generosity, they happen all year long, not just during our stewardship campaign. Try Giving Tuesday. People give to all kinds of causes. Why not give to Countryside Church too? And you did. Thank you. And thank you, Rev D, for helping us ask. And pathetic spiritual practice. Just keep trying. It does not have to be perfect. It's practice. There's no score. Rev D, I will miss your stream of spontaneous, sometimes short, sometimes long, sometimes funny, emails and texts day and night, 7 days a week, a torrent of thoughts and ideas and reactions. This is a great book. We should all read it. Have you seen this YouTube video? We need to try this at church. Look at these tomatoes from my garden. Here is that article I was telling you about. Look, here's some therapy for you, Lisa, so you can sleep at night. Here's my cute dog. He just got groomed, and look at my zinnias. It's refreshing to feel this deep engagement. What a source of energy. And yet, as creative and playful as Rev D can be, you are also a lover and rememberer of policies, guidelines, and bylaws. You brought, yes, I know, exhausting, believe me. She brought energy and analysis and a deep eye for detail to our HR manual, our bylaws, and our policies, and you have a sharp mind and you do not forget. She also taught us how to get to know 5 kids in our congregation, to know their names and something about them, because they are our future. Elijah, William, Elika, Reese, Xander, Gabriel, Samuel, Zeke, Jesse. I know there's more, but I don't have enough time. So Rev D, thank you. Oh, wait, there was one more paragraph in here. Just wing it. Well, I'm just going to look for it. It's not here. Thank you. Yes, okay, I'm just going to say, oh, it's down here. I'll say it. So, Rev D, thank you for challenging our old habits and helping us to put a new lens on the world. Thank you for bringing new people and new ideas into our sanctuary and into our worship, for staying on the phone for hours while we work through some nitty-gritty stuff, for your sense of humor and your frank commentaries, for reminding me when I needed to get involved in a matter, for reminding me when I was getting too involved in a matter, for letting me say a few curse words now and then without criticizing me. And I do have to say, I forgot to bring the paragraph, but we have sat in the car and had some tough conversations. And the minute we could stop tiptoeing and being so darn careful with each other, and maybe I said a few expletives, we had brave and courageous and fruitful conversations, and for that, I thank you. Thank you for bringing new approaches to our board and committees and bringing creative and colorful thoughts and plans to our world. And as one of our board members reflected, Rev D is inspired by magic. She is in awe of magic. Like Houdini, Rev D might say, look at this life, all mystery and magic. Thanks for the magic, Rev D.
And I am Scott Giles, the congregation's affiliated community minister. My pronouns are he and his. And it is a privilege to add my voice to the others gathered here to say thank you and Godspeed to our interim minister, the Reverend Denise Cawley. In my experience, most people do not understand what an interim minister does. They think it's a temporary position merely intended to bridge between the ministries of 2 longer-term settled ministers, but it is not that. The title given to a minister who is brought in as a placeholder to mind the store is called a contract minister, and that is what Reverend Pamela will bring to us next year. An interim minister is very different. The job isn't to mind the store. The job is to shake things up, because if a congregation doesn't have that experience, the next incoming minister will have the survival odds of a kamikaze pilot. And that is why interim ministries are required. Research and congregational experience has shown conclusively that someone has to come in and break up the established patterns if the next parish minister is to have a chance. Congregations get into routines. They get used to the way things are done, the tone that has been set, the relationships that are in place, and all of that is called into question when a new parish minister arrives. The job of the interim minister is to prepare the way. Therefore, the interim minister has to ask people to look at things they would rather ignore. The interim has to ask people to consider things from a perspective they would rather decline to consider. The interim has to ask people to change things they would really rather not change. It's also the reason why interim ministries are temporary, or as We clergy types sometimes jokingly say to each other, interim ministers come pre-fired. Because if you do the job right, you're going to tick some people off. All of this is typically invisible to the congregation as a whole, but it goes on. This is why interim ministry is probably the most difficult and thankless form of ministry a clergy person can do. But it is essential to the long-term health of our congregations. So for that reason, I am very pleased that we are gathered here today to say thank you to Reverend Denise as she moves forward to her next ministry. Interim ministers seldom get thanked, and so I'm glad we're doing so this morning. They deserve our gratitude. It's a difficult and challenging body of work. I've been a fellowship minister in this association for 46 years. Reverend Denise, it's my opinion as your senior colleague that you've done the job for us the way it was supposed to be done. The future health of this congregation will be due, in part, to your work with us. I hope you're proud of what you've done with us. You deserve to be. I am grateful. You've done well, and I add my voice to those saying thank you.
Hi, Jerome McDonald again, he, him. I'm speaking on behalf of the Interim Committee, and I think I can say on behalf of the Interim Committee, which was Lisa, Judy Ball for a hot minute, Dewey Bryant, Bill Huber, we didn't know what we were getting into. But we were quickly confronted with an avalanche of history and an avalanche of conversations and ideas about what Countryside was all about. And I think we all learned something about what Countryside was all about. And it wasn't clear to me that this was all going to come together in a mission statement or logos or anything. It just seemed to muddy the waters there for a minute, but it did fall into all those things. And it was great to be able to get to know everybody better, I think. I think the interim part was something that helped everybody get to know everybody better. So this has been, I think, a really fun interim time. I had a good time. So thanks very much, Reverend Denise. Great job.
All right. Hi, I'm Mari again, she, her. Today we're gathering to honor and bid farewell to someone truly special, Reverend Denise Cawley. And I've had an incredible privilege of being one of her worship associates, a role that made me happily one of her cohorts in Scheming for Good. Today I'm speaking on behalf of the entire worship council, although I did not clear any of the things I'm saying with them. That's what I'm saying. When Rev D first started, those of us on the worship council held the title of verger. Now, at the time I became a verger, I was under the impression that vergers used a stick to snap those that were sleeping awake during service, and I was actually really fine with that. I was like, yeah, I got that. And Izzy and I kept going, well, where's our stick? So, however, when Rev D came, she did not want us to be called vergers anymore, and she explained that vergers historically had a rather troubling history of beating the poor and the non-white people out of the church, and being slightly on the poor side and not being completely white, I figured that was not a good title for me. So when she changed it to worship associate, I was really down with that. Like, yeah. And we finally referred to ourselves as WAS. Maybe because we are wahing a lot. I don't know. She's nodding in the front row. But Rev D's commitment to inclusivity and understanding change was really evident even in this small, seemingly insignificant change that we made. Rev D's love and acceptance of all people is something that truly sets her apart. She has this amazing ability to see beauty in everyone and everything. I'm going to start crying. And there's no tissue. Oh, wait, there is. Okay. She encouraged us on the worship council to push our boundaries and to spread our wings and to dive deep into the art of worship, and her gentle nudges and unwavering support helped us grow in ways we never thought were possible. I need the Q-tip thing, you know, where you like just Q-tip dab under your eye. What I've cherished most about Rev D has been her genuine warmth and her lack of bringing out the best, her knack of bringing out the best. It's hard when you're crying in all of us. And she didn't just lead us, she walked beside us, sharing her wisdom and kindness every step of the way. And I always appreciated how she danced on the chancel with me, bringing some energy and movement into our sacred space. And we even secretly shared some private dance time. Yay. Her spirit of inclusivity and her dedication to fostering a loving, accepting community has left an indelible mark on all of us. And especially me, this is a personal note that's not in my notes, but she was able to make me break through my shy shell, that most people don't see, but that I actually have, and she did. And as we bid farewell to Rev D, we want to carry forward her legacy of love, acceptance, and artistic exploration. You understood that? Thank you so much for your friendship, your guidance, and for being a shining light in our lives. You're always going to be deeply missed, but the gifts that you've left behind will always be with us, guiding us and leading us forward.
Hello, Martikeshne, she, her. A Buddhist and an atheist walked into a Unitarian church to hear the minister give a sermon. What would Dolly do? That's what I called it. It sounds like the setup for a punchline, but it's the true tale of the day that my husband and I lucked into finding our dream home, then my dream career. I don't want to say anything too personal because someone's obviously chopping onions in the kitchen back there. But you know, I love you, and I am forever grateful that you gave me a chance. On behalf of the RE department, I'd like to present you with this card that we made back in May and kept as a surprise for you. Thanks for being an advocate for the children of our church and for sharing your philosophy that children should be seen and heard and also known personally. We thank you for your spiritual guidance and are sad to see you go, but know you go newly baptized. Yes. Blessed be. If you haven't seen the video on Facebook, we saw John Baptiste on Thursday.
I'm Elizabeth Van Orden. My pronouns are she and her. A few weeks ago, and I'm sorry, you guys keep crying, and I'm like one of those communal criers, you know, when somebody starts yawning, then everybody starts yawning. This is probably gonna happen to me too. But a few weeks ago, Rev D said that she hoped if we remembered anything about her time with us, it would be mermaids. I heard that siren song back in November. Rev D had mentioned something about mermaids in a service again, and I headed to Joanne Fabrics on my way home from service to buy some fabric for another project. I saw mermaid print fabric and I thought, you know what would be awesome? A mermaid stole. There were no patterns for stoles at the store, so I started searching on Etsy. No patterns. When I was searching through Etsy, I found a seamstress whose style reminded me of Rev D, and she offered custom designs. I messaged her about my idea with the YouTube from the Water Communion service, and I also acquiesced that this may not be part of her individual spiritual practice and spiritual journey, but that this was, you know, very important as mermaids are sort of liminal beings, and this is an interim minister, and it's helping us dive deep beneath the surface to know who we are, and it's going between two worlds and helping us in this journey. She wrote back to me, you know, that a garment becomes holy because of the person, and it is and the wearer. It's a piece of clothing until it becomes, you know, it's worn by the person who's embodying it. And then she wrote back, is this for Denise Cawley? Because I've made several stoles for her. Let me get back to you after the holidays. So I messaged Lisa, because this was now becoming something bigger than a little idea of a pathetic practice of me badly sewing a mermaid stool. This might be something that the congregation would like to give Rev D. Lisa loved the idea and asked me to keep her posted. In January, the seamstress, or maybe this was February, I can't remember this time, sent the most beautiful sketches of the stool with a mermaid and some other details which will come out soon. I sent this to Lisa, who thought it was perfect, and suggested that I check with Mari, who also thought it was perfect. And she agreed, and so I ordered it. The very next day, we canceled the service at the last minute. I think this was in February 8th or 9th or so. We canceled the service at the last minute because it was really cold. And during our virtual coffee hour, sorry. I'm happy with coffee. Someone asked how our interim time with Rev D would end. She explained that among other things, we would exchange gifts. I laughed and I said, we're on it. And then after the service, Rev D texted me to say that she would really love to receive a stole and sent me a link to an Etsy shop, the same Etsy shop that I had given my credit card information to the day before. She said that she loves patterns that travel from one side to the other and that she likes to get involved and to make sure to talk with Lisa and Mari. I saw the words appear on my screen and I didn't know what to say. I said, ellipses, and then I think we have you covered. So Rev D, please accept this gift from CCUU, which I think we had you covered. And all of the messages are typed up in here because it was about like 5 pages between all the scheming for good that happened behind the scenes. You don't have to read it now.
I said that because the congregation that ordained me gave me a stole, and every time I wear it, I feel their love in my heart, and I knew I wanted to carry you with me somehow. Oh my God. Aww. Come behind it. Yeah, let it Petoskey stones. The chalice that's back here was actually designed by the same, they don't know this. This was designed by the same designer that just did the logo that won out for us. And when Reverend Matt got ordained, I ordered a stole from her, and she's usually designing stoles for Christian ministers, and she kind of had I said, well, we don't want a cross on the back of that. And she was drawing some really awkward stoles, so I asked Michael of MP Design to make me a design that would be easy to sew. And then I gave it to that artist, so every time a UU minister gets a stole now from her, this is the chalice she puts on the back. So now it's even more meaningful because it's from you, and your new logo is by this artist too. This is spectacular, thank you. I love you. Even when you drove me nuts, I loved you. There was one day, I can't even remember the occasion. Oh, someone was flipping out about something and needed like multiple pastoral conversations, and then I thought I really had it, and they were calm, it was good. And then Lisa texts, no, they called me, they're still freaking out. And I went, this job! Aiden was in the car. That's right, Aiden, yes. Yeah. My son Aiden's here, who you also loved up when he had surgery, so thank you. I'll never forget you. I hope you have so much success and so much beauty. I will be rooting for you from afar beyond that end of that invisible string. You're beautiful. I love you. So go grow as we grow, right? Go as we go, grow as we go. Thank you.
For 2 years, Rev. Denise has blessed us at the end of each service. Stop right there, Denise. And today we are going to bless her. So, Rev. Denise and I will take a little tour around the sanctuary, and you extend your energy from the palms of your hands through your body, please, to Rev. Denise, your blessings, your thanks, your well wishes, and we will sing a little song for her. You'll know it as we go.
To celebrate